Hello and welcome to Martyn Lucas Investor. My name is Sensei and welcome to the morning forecast show where we're focusing on today the FOMC meeting coming up. Are we going to get a rate cut? Are we going to get a rate hike? Or is it going to hold? Well, not only that, the answer is pretty clear to me. We're not going to get a rate cut, but we need to look forward and look. There is a slight possibility we get a cut and what that would mean for the markets. We're looking at XRP right now, which is down 2%. We're looking at Bitcoin, which is pretty much flat. Our idea of Bitcoin dominance going up is playing out right now. So we're going to go look all into that, the FOMC, what Jerome Powell is going to say, because that's more important than what he does today. So let's get into all of that. Remember, this is our morning forecast show where we look into the markets. Is it going to be a rainy day here in the markets where everything goes down? Is it going to be a sideways moving action day? Are we going to get Bitcoin move sideways, altcoins move down, and Bitcoin dominance up? Or is it going to be one of those days where Bitcoin goes up, altcoins go up, stocks go up? We will see. If there is a rate cut today, you need to be prepared for a massive rally. So we'll see what happens. It's going to be a volatile one. Let's get prepared for the day. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Please do hit the like button if you haven't done so already. Be ready for a training video coming out as well on Discord today. One of the last ones in series 1. Amazing course we have now for free in Discord. Everything about trading, everything I've learned over the last 5 or 6 years looking at charts, everything I know for free. You need to understand that people charge thousands of dollars for this, hundreds of dollars for this, and we've done it as an additional perk for Discord Premium. I'll give you the link for Discord if I can find it. Yes, it's here. Join Discord and you will get that, and not only that, we are having one of our best products launching in the shop today / tomorrow. It's taken hours and hours of work. What we're doing is we've got a whole poster for all the different trading patterns, so you can just have it in front of you and understand all the patterns. So that's all exciting. That's coming alongside the training video that's coming out today on Discord. So go and sign up to Discord. You will basically have the whole first series, which is the fundamentals of technical analysis. With that alone, you will learn a lot. And every single, consistently, we're bringing more content. And once all the content's done, don't worry, we're going to keep going live sessions. So Discord is an absolute bargain, $2.99. And what we've done is we've added the training course into it. So go check that out. But what are we talking about today? Well, if you've got the newsletter, you already know. Today is a big day, not only for FOMC, we've got a few big top stories. We've got an update on ETFs from Paul Atkins. We've got today is a landmark crypto report coming out. The strategic reserve takes center stage. We're going to get a report coming out of the White House today on the strategic Bitcoin reserve. I wonder if they mention anything about the digital assets, the strategic digital asset reserve, or whatever it's called, where XRP should be included. We're going to be waiting for that. That could be dropping at any moment today. We've got more news on tariffs. We've got Robinhood earnings coming up tonight as well. Remember, the reason Robinhood's doing so well, tokenization and crypto, two things that we've been talking about for a while, and we're going to see what the earnings report is. Robinhood, we bought it at $8, currently trading at around over $100. One of the best trades we've done in the last couple years. So congratulations to anyone who took part in that. I do have the chart in the newsletter, but a lot of the newsletter, of course, is for our premium members, while a significant amount is also for the members that sign up as well, for free. So let me give you the link to newsletter. If you do not have the newsletter yet, I'm not sure what you're doing, because if you're a real investor, whether it's within crypto, XRP, or the stock market, you need to get your news every single day, and we bring you the best news on time before the rest of the market even knows about it. The clear, in-depth / the 5 things you need to know every day, the deep dives, the market snapshot. I mean, this is what the newsletter looks like every day. So you've got what the one big thing is, the money move, the market snapshot. You've got the 5 main stories of the day, which is great to be keeping up with the news, because not only is it great within that moment, but you start understanding how the market works and what the top stories are for someone who's investing in XRP or the stock market, potentially both as well. So you've got the deeper dive, which we're going to go into, all about the FOMC, a lot of charts as well. You've got the on the radar, so you can just go to the bottom of the newsletter every day, and what you see is what's happening. It's your economic calendar, what's happening today, where you know what time the FOMC meeting is, you know what other data is coming out, you know what's causing volatility in the market, the top events slash the data's coming out. You've also got the chart of the day, where you get a chart every single day with my thoughts, my opinions, key zones, and all of that stuff. So that is the first link of the description. It's also in the live chat. Go and consider checking that out. But what we're going to start off first with, well, it's going to have to be the FOMC meeting today. That is probably the top story alongside the Bitcoin reserve. So we're going to get straight into that, and we've got all the data to back it up. So let's get into that. If you are watching us live, please hit the like button. We're going to get into all of that as soon as we hit 155 likes. I don't know how many we're on, but we do have enough people watching to get that in seconds. So let me put on the music. We haven't put it on for a while. Let me put it on. All you have to do is hit the like button. Once you've smashed the like button, make sure you voted on the poll as well. Come over here in the comment section and hit the like button. I feel like it's going to be a good day. So hit the like button on the video. Once you've done that, come here and hit the like button as well. Let's put the music on for 1 minute and let's get ready for the day.
The year is 1991. Birds and people are living together in seemingly perfect harmony, until one day a young man catches fire. This is Phoenix. You've been knocked down and got up again. In a corner, you're surrounded, no defenders. You've hit your fury and kept it in. But it's time now you ignite and turn to embers.
We're on 91 likes. If everyone takes a second, hit the like button. Let's get 155 within seconds. This is a big day. Lots of news coming up in the next few moments.
Spread your wings to rise from the ashes. You burst in a fire burn. The thirst and desire. You transform right up in a flash. You spread your wings to rise from the ashes.
120 likes, only about 35 more to go. We can do it. Whoever hasn't hit the like button, I know it's early, but you need to get ready for the FOMC and the volatility of today. So smash that like button so we can get straight into it. We've got 140 likes, only 15 more people. Who hasn't liked it yet? Please do like, share. If you haven't done so already, please do also subscribe. We are on the final road to 100,000. Be here before 100,000 for a special prize. 7 more likes. If you want to know what that special prize is, I'm going to give you the link in the chat. It's $1,000 giveaway. Very easy to enter, free for everyone, live on the show. It's not like the fake ones you see online. This is real, done live on the show.
Phoenix, you burst in a fire.
$1,000 giveaway link live in the chat.
Burst in a fire burn. A thirst and desire. You transform light up in a flash. You spread your wings and rise from the ashes.
Thank you everyone for doing that. Let's give it the round of applause. Oh, I didn't do it properly. Let me do the round of applause again. There we go. 177 likes. Let's get straight into it. If you do want to be participating in that $1,000 giveaway, it is live in the chat right now. You can go grab your tickets and get ready for the live draw. As I've been saying a few times now, and it's unfolded twice now, up here, look, XRP $10 7 days. That was a real possibility 2 weeks ago. Why? Because when XRP moves, it moves fast, but when it fades, you need to understand that the momentum can shift. So you don't ever fight the trend. If you think something's gone up so much and it can't go up anymore, it certainly can. If you think the RSI is overbought and it doesn't mean it means it can't go up anymore, it can, and you're wrong. You cannot fight the trend. And the trend for XRP was a massive breakout we caught live on the show. I mean, we've caught many breakouts, $2 every single time we were trading that. We caught the 50% correction last time we hit XRP at all-time highs. And we caught one of the biggest breakouts for XRP recently as well, from $2.20 to $3.50. Don't forget about a breakout we caught on XRP back in November at 50 cents to $3.50. That was incredible as well. But the most recent one we caught live was the breakout from $2.30, this ascending triangle. Remember, just patterns like this, you want to have them in front of you, and we're going to have a poster coming out very shortly, so keep your eye out for that. Anyway, this structure broke out and it hit the target. This structure was a very bullish structure, and the way it played out was incredibly perfect. Every single day it was going up, and that's why I said this is not a guarantee. I'm not giving this a high likelihood chance, but do not be surprised to see $10 within 7 days. And that didn't happen, but that's perfectly fine, because the momentum shifted. Once we got some of these candles peaking above $3.50 and not holding, my stance changed. You had to be prepared for $10 within 7 days, but I said that's probably not the most likely scenario. And once we started topping out here, I said be prepared for $3. I mean, literally on the day. Go back onto the stream of Wednesday the 23rd, when we were up about $3.50. I said be prepared for $3. $3, in my opinion, is the most likely situation that's going to happen with XRP. Everyone in the chat, well, not everyone, but a lot of people in the chat, a lot of people on X were laughing at me and saying $3, we're never going to see it again. We're never going to see it again. I said we are going to see it again, and we're probably going to see it soon. And in fact, we basically got down to it on that day I said it, and over the following days. Yesterday and the last couple of days, again, I've said a lot of people saying we're not going to see $3 again, and I said we most likely are going to see $3 again. So there is time to still accumulate. Again, I never give financial advice. Please do not buy or sell anything based on anything I say. That would be a very unwise decision. So please don't do that. I'm not a financial advisor. This isn't financial advice. This are my thoughts, my opinions, me looking at charts and just giving you my speculative opinions. And one of those opinions was that we're going to come back down to $3 again. And it looks like that's playing out now. XRP is down 2.46%. Why have I been saying this? Well, it all came down to when we were up here and Bitcoin dominance was at a key level and severely oversold. I'm not talking about in the oversold territory. I'm talking about Bitcoin dominance was severely oversold and at the 60% level. Oversold territories we haven't seen since 2020. And that basically means a lot of the market cap is going into altcoins pretty fast. And in my opinion, I've always said we should see Bitcoin go to its next all-time highs before we get that full-blown altcoin season. And if you're listening to the show, why has this gone down suddenly? Let me just check that. This is very strange. Are we still live? I think we're still live. My thing just cut out. Anyway, let me just make sure we are still running. Are we still running live? Yeah, we're all still good. I apologize. I just had an error. I said that Bitcoin dominance needs to have a bounce back. And what is that going to result in? Bitcoin going to its next levels. Look, I'm not a massive fan of Bitcoin. I like what it stands for. I like how it's the first cryptocurrency, and I think it's going to stick around for a good while and go to $1 million. But it doesn't interest me that much. But even though it doesn't interest me that much as an investment, it interests me a lot when I look at the charts. And what I've said for Bitcoin, remember we predicted this breakout to all-time highs. What I've said is Bitcoin's going to consolidate. It's basically forming a bull flag right now, or a bullish rectangle. Again, those charts on a poster is really going to help you out in these situations. But it's going to consolidate above 116,000, and for there to be good health within the crypto market, we want Bitcoin to go to its next key level, which would be around 125 to 130,000. The next levels after that will be around 150,000. Those really do need to occur for us to get an altcoin season, for us to get maybe a $10 XRP, some altcoins doing a 50, 100x. 10x is everywhere, and that goes back to the Bitcoin dominance chart, where I'm expecting a push back up, because when Bitcoin goes to its next levels, Bitcoin dominance will go to its highs again. And literally, you can see exactly as I drew out with my squiggles on a chart. Martyn will laugh at me because he always calls I draw squiggles on a chart, and and that's all it is, squiggles on a chart. You can see I squiggled out a W bottoming out structure at 60%, and what I'm expecting is for Bitcoin dominance to head up back to these highs. And I'm not sure, is it going to put in a lower high? Potentially. Is it going to put in the same high? Potentially. Is it going to put in a slightly higher high? Potentially. But all of those options result in Bitcoin dominance having a big move back up to upside. So what does that actually mean for the crypto market? Well, it means Bitcoin's going to outperform the altcoins. It means basically, how can Bitcoin outperform the altcoins? Well, altcoins can go down, let's say 5%, and Bitcoin goes down 1%, Bitcoin dominance goes up. Altcoins are down 2%, Bitcoin is flat on the day, Bitcoin dominance goes up. Or Bitcoin's up 5% and altcoins are up 2%, Bitcoin dominance goes up. So it just means the money is back into Bitcoin, the money's flowing into Bitcoin, whether from outside investment or from the altcoins, and Bitcoin is the star of the show. And I don't mind Bitcoin being the star of the show, because the longer Bitcoin's the star of the show, when it's no longer the star of the show in an altcoin season, then we've got more room to run down on the Bitcoin dominance chart. Remember in 2021, when we had the collapse of Bitcoin dominance, that's when altcoin season started. So these collapses in Bitcoin dominance, the higher Bitcoin dominance is, the more it can collapse. And back in 2018, we saw the collapse of Bitcoin dominance. Back in 2021, we saw it go from 72% to 40%. That collapse in Bitcoin dominance was an altcoin season. So I wouldn't mind seeing Bitcoin dominance go higher again. And then my prediction for altcoin season really also comes in line with, I think a lot of the altcoin season liquidity will come from XRP, actually, unlike some other people's thoughts. I think XRP will go to these $10 ranges, and then that money can flow into some other altcoins. When do I think that will happen? Well, I think August is going to be not the most bullish month. I think Bitcoin might go on its rally. I don't think August is going to really bring us anything. But in September, on the build up to when it's the most likely time for us to get an XRP ETF, the chart is in the newsletter. The 17th, 18th, 19th of October is when all the deadlines are for the XRP ETF. And that's when I expect XRP to really start rallying, but not only on the day of the ETF rally, ETF approval, but mainly on the build up to that approval, just like Bitcoin and Ethereum, on the build up to an approval where everyone starts seeing the sentiment that an XRP ETF approval is around the corner, just like Bloomberg analysts are saying 95% chance. Well, they're not telling us when, but I did the research. I think it's going to be in October. Can it be before? Yes. Can it be after? Yes. However, October is when it's the 245-day deadline from the filing of the ETF, where the SEC can't delay it. They just have to make a decision whether they approve it or deny it. I think that decision is going to be approval, because there's about 7 around the same time and they want to approve them all at the same time. So I think that's going to be in October. I think we're going to be buying the rumor in September. I think there could be a correction once they get approved, and then a continuation, just like Bitcoin. That means the month of August could probably be this month where we start seeing Bitcoin dominance overtake again. Maybe that results in Bitcoin going up. Maybe it results in the broader markets coming down, the altcoin market coming down, and Bitcoin coming down slightly less, and that will still bring Bitcoin dominance up. So that's all going on in the background, and what we've got going on today is an FOMC report, which could really bring some volatility into the markets today. So that's my thoughts on XRP. I think it's going to come back down to $3. It can come as low as $2.62. I think it's going to range between all-time highs and $2.62 for the next month. Yes, that's a pretty big range, but I don't think we're going to see anything major. I think it's going to be price action like we've seen before until we come up into September and we start buying the rumor. That's my idea. I could be very wrong. It's quite a bold prediction, but we'll see if it unfolds or not. So far, it's been exactly correct. So I might change my mind a week or two if we get more data, but right now that is what my thoughts are, and it's playing out exactly as predicted. So that's my thoughts on XRP and Bitcoin. Now what's going on today is something that's going to bring in a lot of volatility into the markets. We've got the Bitcoin Reserve report coming out today, which we're going to hopefully be covering live. We've also got an FOMC meeting. Are they going to cut rates? No. In my opinion, they're not. I think there's a very small chance they cut rates. However, there is still a chance, so be prepared for that chance, because if they do cut rates, in my opinion, that would be a massive rally for the markets, because it's about 97% priced in that there will not be a rate cut. So when there's not going to be when there's so much confidence that there's not going to be a rate cut, you can see 97.9% a chance that there's not going to be a rate cut. If there's that much confidence that there's not going to be a rate cut, and there's this much confidence that there will be a rate cut, about 2.1%, then if there is a rate cut, that will bring a whole lot of volatility to the markets. And where will that volatility, will it be up or down? In my opinion, if we get a sudden rate cut that we were not expecting, I think the markets will rally. This is different to if there was an emergency rate cut. If there was an emergency rate cut outside of an FOMC meeting, I think the markets will crash, because it will just be like, oh, something's gone wrong in the markets. If it happens during an FOMC report, I think the markets will rally, especially when they're not pricing in it at all. So there is always that possibility. And if that happens, I think the markets will go crazy. So very small chance, but be prepared for that. So the most likely scenario, they hold. So let's read the article from today's newsletter, something I wrote this morning. So let's see all the everything you need to know about the FOMC meeting coming up later today. So, as the Federal Reserve concludes its two-day policy meeting today, investors face one of the most politically charged monetary policy moments in decades. If you are enjoying the stream so far, please do hit the like button. If you are new here, help us on our journey to 100,000 subscribers. There is the subscribe button. You can click it and become a subscriber of the channel. We do appreciate it. Markets widely expect the central bank to hold rates steady at 4.25 to 4.5% for a fifth consecutive meeting. That is a while. I do think they can afford to bring the rates down, but I also do understand why they're not bringing the rates down, and we'll get into some of those reasons why in a second. But the real story lies beneath the surface, where inflation risk, political interference, and trade tensions are reshaping the Fed's path. This is all important information you do need to know, so do stay tuned with us. If you're a real investor, you want the real information behind the scenes, not just the headlines. And this is some of the information that the broader market won't be looking at. So the Fed's likely decision is going to happen. The Federal Open Market Committee, the FOMC, is expected to keep its benchmarks rate unchanged, with futures markets showing just about a 3% chance of a rate cut today. And if that happens, expect a massive rally. I don't think it will happen. I said that last month. I said there won't be a rate cut last month. I said there won't be a rate cut this month. I think there will be a rate cut next month. Inflation rose to 2.7% in June, the highest since February, remaining well above the Fed's 2% target. Remember, the whole idea of this rate cut, the rates going up, was inflation. They're waiting for it to come to the 2% target, and it's proving very, very sticky. So that's why they're not lowering the rates. The economic data and also the markets, the economy is doing well, so there's not really a need to bring down rates. However, many arguments can be made why you should bring down rates. We're not economists here. We'll leave it to the experts, and we'll just try and position ourselves in the best way possible. Anyway, the economic data is mixed. Unemployment is down slightly to 4.1%, while job growth added 147,000 positions in June. But private sector hiring has slowed to a crawl. More concerning, core inflation rose to 2.9%, with categories like household furnishings and clothing showing price jumps tied to Trump's tariffs. Remember, these tariffs, as whether you want to say they're good, they're bad, you like them, you don't like them, you like Trump, you don't like Trump, we don't care. There's no reason to care about that when you're looking at the data. The issue with tariffs is we do not know how much they're going to affect inflation. And if you don't know how much they're going to affect inflation, you don't want to bring the rates down to just bring them back up again once they take effect. And the other issue is this delaying factor. These delays that keep going on with these tariffs, this taco trade, if you want to call it, well, that's no longer happening because you get these deals coming in and the markets aren't reacting. I'm sure everyone's noticed that. You get deals coming through, really good deals, whether you want to call them good deals or bad deals, good deals for the US, and the markets aren't really moving. The EU deal came out, the markets didn't really care. So that's all going on as well. But also the tariffs, the delays, the 90-day delay for China again. Well, the Fed doesn't know how to price it in because the tariffs aren't there. They might be coming in 90 days. They might have a big inflationary pressure in 90 days. But do they lower rates just to increase them if inflation comes up? That's one of the factors that you need to take into consideration. That's the effect that tariffs are having. So Trump's evolving tariff strategy is now a major headwind for monetary policy. The EU recently struck a deal for 15%, far less than the initial 30%. But Brazil faces a punitive 50% tariff due to political disputes. The US effective tariff rate has risen from 2.4% in early 25 to about 8 to 9%, with economists estimating these tariffs could add 0.2 to 0.3 percentage points to inflation, to consumer prices. Atlanta Fed President Raphael Bostic has warned that tariff-driven inflation might not fade quickly, a reality that could delay Fed's cutting cycle. So if you're asking why they haven't been cutting rates, well, that's one of the major factors. Is there an issue going on? Inflation might not fade quickly, a reality that could delay Fed's cutting cycle. So if you're asking why they haven't been cutting rates, well, that's one of... If there is an issue, you need to refresh. This is YouTube, unfortunately. They have some issue with audio sometimes. What you need to do is refresh the stream if you're on a browser. If you're on your phone or an iPad, you need to come off it and just exit the whole YouTube app and come straight back in. Refresh the stream and you'll be fine. This is not on our end, this is YouTube. If there is an issue, you need to refresh. Yeah, okay. So this is what the Fed signals hold now, cut later. I showed you these charts. It's in the newsletter. 98% that we're going to hold, 2.1%. A slight chance, but still possible. If that happens, massive move towards the downside. And then this is next month. This is going to be in September, and this sort of lines up with that rally we're talking about. Rate cuts in September seem like a real possibility. Even with the tariff pressures, they can definitely afford to do at least one rate cut and start setting the precedent. And I think that will excite the markets. Markets will be buying into this. And when is this? September. This is when I started to say that we're probably going to get that rally starting in the crypto markets as well. I think August could be a pretty bad month for crypto and maybe stocks as well. But I think September, you can start building it back up. Rate cuts are coming. And that's what the market is pricing in, rate cuts in September. So this chart is going to change a lot, and I explain this here. In these charts from FedWatch tool, we can see that the markets are fully pricing in no rate cuts as at today's meeting. However, for September, markets are currently expecting a cut. The September probability chart is likely to shift significantly after today's meeting as Jerome Powell provides guidance and signals about the Fed's future policy path. So this chart here, this is for September. Make a mental screenshot of this. 34% is going to a chance that they're going to hold. 64% of one cut and 1.4% chance of two cuts. So this is going to change after the meeting. Once we hear Fed Jerome Powell speak about forward-looking statements, or whatever you want to call it, about the future, this chart will change, and that will give us the real guidance. That's what's important about today's FOMC meeting. Is what he says, because what he says is going to affect the future. It's not all about today. It's about what the market prices in for next month or the next FOMC meeting. So that's what's priced in right now. If we start sliding towards rate cuts, then obviously the market's going to take that well. So if the Fed were to cut rates today, it would be a major surprise, one that would trigger a sharp rally in both stocks and crypto, as investors would interpret it as the start of an aggressive easing cycle. Risk assets like tech stocks and Bitcoin would likely see immediate upside, while the dollar could weaken, adding more fuel to crypto momentum. So this has also been going on. Trump versus Powell. Refresh if audio issues. I think, Martyn, can you confirm if there's any audio issues? I don't think there are. Refresh if audio issues. So this has also been going on. Trump versus Powell. No, I don't think there is any. So Trump versus Powell. Let me go back here. Yeah, the shutdown between President Trump and the Fed Chair Jerome Powell is now front and center. Last week, Trump made a rare public visit to the Fed HQ, only the fourth such presidential visit since 1937, to demand aggressive rate cuts and to criticize the $2.5 billion renovation project. The confrontation was tense. We covered it live on the show, so make sure if you're not subscribed, we cover all these events live on the show, so please do subscribe, whether it's an XRP ETF event, XRP SEC event, any major events, we cover it live on the show, so make sure you are subscribed. If you have just tuned in, please do also hit the like button. While holding firm on policy neutrality, Trump repeats threats, calling Powell a numbskull and suggesting that he could be fired, have sparked warnings about central bank independence, and that is not good. So history shows, just looking at the comments, yeah, no audio issues. Yeah, audio's fine. Just please refresh, go out, come back in, and you'll be fine. Calling, so that's a real concern. You don't want the independence of the Fed to go away, because that will cause real major issues in the markets. Anyway, history shows why this matters. Nixon's pressure on Fed Chair Arthur Burns in 1970s led to runaway inflation, while Harry Truman's confrontation in 1951 resulted in a landmark Treasury Fed accord commending the Fed's autonomy. So history doesn't show that's good. Market signals and distant risk. Investors will be closely praising Powell's press conference for any hints about September cuts. That's what's going to be key. We're going to be covering it live on the show. What's important is what he says about the future, what he says about September, how lenient he is on cuts. My personal prediction, again, dubious speculation, as some would say, would be that he indicates rate cuts. I think he will indicate rate cuts. I think he would say something like, we are expecting some rate cuts this year. Even if tariffs, we don't know the full extent of the tariffs, we can afford to make some rate cuts. I think language like that, in one way or another, I think he's going to suggest rate cuts potentially in September. He might not say September, but he might make it pretty clear that there will soon be at least some rate cuts, and that's what we need to listen out for in the meeting. Not whether it's going to be a cut or hold or hike today, because we pretty much know they're not going to cut rates. Small chance they are. If that happens, massive rally, but we pretty much know they're going to hold. So why are we watching this FOMC meeting? Well, because we need to know what happens before anyone else in the next meetings, and we can try and judge that from what they say. So investors will be watching closely, and this is not just investors, this is traders all around the world, all the banks traders. They're going to be watching this and they're going to be trading this. I do not recommend you do that, because it's going to be highly volatile. Most people lose if they leverage trade, but at least understanding what's going on is important. So press conference for any hints about September cuts, yet internal tensions could complicate the message. Governors Christopher Waller and Michelle Barron are reportedly pushing for immediate cuts, arguing that tariff inflation will be temporary. A dual dissent could mark the first time since 1993 that two Fed governors opposed the same decisions, underscoring the policy divide within Powell's ranks. Impact on retail investors. That's us. We're the retail investors. The Fed's stance directly impacts borrowing and saving. Mortgages, 30%, 30-year fixed rates remain above 6.5% and are unlikely to drop until the Fed signals cuts. Average credit card rates hover near 21%, meaning relief will come slowly and lightly in small increments. Savings, high yield accounts and CDs may soon see yield declines if cuts start in late 25. Stocks and crypto, lower rates will typically boost valuations, but tariff-driven inflation and political uncertainty complicate the outlook. So what if rate cuts are delayed? A delay to December or beyond would put pressure would pressure the housing market, small businesses, consumer spending and real wages lag behind inflation. Trump has linked high rates to ballooning federal interest payments, adding political heat, but the Fed is unlikely to move prematurely. If they start indicating the opposite, not rate cuts next month, but start saying that we might not even see a rate cut this year, then the markets will absolutely hate that and they'll probably come crashing down. So the investor playbook. For retail investors, the best response is preparation rather than prediction. Diversify across, this is just general advice. Again, everyone's situation is different, but general advice, we're happy to say this. Diversify across asset classes, balancing equities with short-term bonds and inflation protection securities. Lock in fixed rates where possible for mortgages to personal loans. Stay flexible. Policy shifts could arrive faster than expected if growth weakens sharply. Powell's Balancing Act, we're at the end of this article, so I'm going to give you some charts in a second. So Powell's Balancing Act, fighting inflation while resisting political pressure, will shape markets for the rest of 2025. While a September cut remains possible, tariffs and political turbulence could keep the Fed on hold longer than markets hope. For everyday investors, caution, diversification, patience remain the smartest strategies. That goes hand in hand with what I say every single day. Be prepared for it to go sideways, be prepared for it to moon, be prepared for it to go up, be prepared for it to go down, be prepared for a crash. If you're prepared for all of that, that means you have put in the right amount of money, you know what you're doing, you haven't put in more than you can afford to lose, all this sort of stuff. So the Fed is walking a razor edge. Too early, this is my thoughts. Too early, a rate cut could fuel tariff-driven inflation, while waiting too long risks cracking the labour market and housing. For retail investors, this is the moment to stay liquid, avoid over-leveraging, and lean into quality. Think defensive dividend stocks. We've seen Martyn trading Coca-Cola, short-term T-bills, and selected crypto plays like Bitcoin as a hedge. Don't chase every headline. Focus on positioning for the September to December window, where first real policy pivot is most likely. Remember, nothing I say is financial advice. It all essentially. What we're looking at is today's FOMC meeting. It's going to be pivotal, it's going to be important, it's going to be volatile. We're going to be covering it live on the show, so make sure you hit the like button and subscribe. What we're looking at is we pretty much know they're not going to cut rates. I've said it last month and the markets are backing me up now. This wasn't this way when I predicted it. It was very much in the favour of cutting. However, now on the day, we've got a 98% chance of rates holding. Is that it? You don't need to watch the FOMC meeting? No. Well, what's going to happen in the meeting is still the most important. Is he going to signal that there's going to be rate cuts coming in September? And we're getting very, very sort of close to the line. This is getting every meeting that goes past and we don't get another rate cut and we don't get any indication. We're on a very fine line of the markets panicking. So this meeting is very important. If we get an indication that there's going to be a rate cut, then the markets are going to like that a lot. If we don't, then the markets won't like that. Right now, before the meeting has taken place and we've heard Jerome Powell's statement, we're looking at a rate cut in September with a 34% chance of staying the same and a 1% chance of sort of a double rate cut, if you want to call it that, a 50 basis point cut. So that's what we're going to be watching in today's FOMC report, what he says. And that comes back to what I was saying about XRP and the crypto markets. It's probably not going to be a rate cut. The markets are probably not going to like that. So I am expecting Bitcoin to come down slightly. Again, it's going to be a volatile day, so I can't predict it very accurately, especially on a day like this. But my opinion stays the same. Bitcoin is going to outperform the altcoins in the next month. And it's been happening for the last week. We see altcoins, just look at the chart. You can look at the right-hand side of my screen. All of these are altcoins, down 6%, 4%, 4%, 3%, 2%. Where's XRP? Down 2.5%. Litecoin, 2%. Even Ethereum down 1%. And then Bitcoin is the best performing cryptocurrency, and it's down 0.36%. So don't get confused. Even though Bitcoin's down, Bitcoin dominance is up on the day, and it's exactly like we're saying, a double bottom for Bitcoin dominance. That will let Bitcoin lead the charge again. Hopefully we don't just want to see Bitcoin go down and altcoins down more. We want to see this bull flag, this accumulation structure we're seeing right now on Bitcoin, take it to its next all-time high, 125 to 130,000. That will provide the liquidity for the altcoins such as XRP to perform really well in that altcoin season. Remember, altcoin season comes and goes very quickly, 1 to 2 weeks. 2 weeks to about 2 months, maximum 2 months. We've seen it be 2 weeks. Especially for XRP, 2-3 weeks, and that's it, been and gone. So have your plan in place now. What are you going to do in that altcoin season? If it does come, there's no guarantee it does, but I'm not going to change my opinion. I'm going to go off all the cycles. I'm not going to make up a new cycle and say this time is different. I'm going to stick to what's happened every other time, which is an altcoin season. So that's my base case. There's going to be an altcoin season. Bitcoin is going to lead the rally when you come into October, September, October with the ETFs. Not only XRP ETFs. Remember, there's a lot of altcoin ETFs. That's when we're going to get our $10 XRP. That's when we're going to get altcoins go up 10, 20, 30x. And that will come and go very fast. So have your plan in place now. What price are you going to sell? Are you going to ladder out? Are you going to DCA out? Are you going to sell at a specific price? Are you not even selling this cycle? Are you selling for a 10? Are you holding for 5 years? Have your plan in place now, because once it gets moving fast, once the real altcoin season comes, if it does come, then you'll make bad decisions because you will emotionally trade, and that's maybe you've already experienced that. I think everyone who invests in crypto has experienced emotional trading, whether that is FOMOing in. Maybe you did it 2 weeks ago. Maybe you did it when Bitcoin was all-time highs, but you weren't paying attention when we were looking at it at $2 or at the breakout $2.30. Or maybe you panic sell. Maybe you panic sold when XRP came down to $1.70 and then you bought at $3.50. To avoid decisions like this, maybe they're not as extreme as that, but maybe you're over leveraging or whatever your problem is. No one is a perfect trader. The best thing to do is have a strategy in place now, whether it's your long-term strategy for this cycle, whether it's your strategy for the FOMC meeting coming up later today, covered live on the show, so make sure you subscribe. You just have a strategy in place. And if you don't have a strategy in place, just answer these 3 questions, and I'll keep banging on about it because it's really important, and we really care about our viewers, our subscribers, our members, and we want everyone to win. And to make sure you're okay, you're going to win, you need to be prepared for these 3 questions. Are you prepared for XRP to go down 80%? Bear market, historically, XRP goes down more than 80%. Are you prepared for XRP to go down 80%? Am I going to say XRP is going to go down 80% from these levels? Probably not. I think $1 will be, if the bear market starts today, I think $1 would be a pretty hard floor. What would that be from these levels? And then everyone's going to call me ultra bearish in the chat right now. About a 60% drop. Anyway, the idea is not where we are right now, where we could be, where we are now. Or are you prepared? Answer these 3 questions. Are you prepared for XRP or whatever your investment is, especially in the crypto market? These numbers are very realistic. Are you prepared for an 80% correction? Are you prepared for years of sideways action? Are you prepared for XRP to hit $5 and then retrace? Are you prepared for XRP to hit $10 and retrace? Are you prepared for XRP to hit $30 and retrace? Whatever your number is, are you prepared for the downside risk? Are you prepared for the sideways risk? Are you prepared for the upside risk? If you're prepared for all those situations, you will win. I guarantee you will win. If you're prepared for those situations, you will win because you won't panic sell on the way down. You might be able to make money on the next cycle. If it goes sideways, you don't have to sell because you've got enough money to do whatever you need to do in your life. If it goes up, you're not going to get really upset because you had a strategy in place. You took profits where it was appropriate for you, and you haven't missed out on the upside gains. So if you're prepared for the downside, the sideways action, the upside, you cannot lose, in my opinion. So have a plan in place, and what will complement that is just writing down what your take profit strategy is in case we do get all the way up to $10. $13, $30, $50, whatever you guys want to believe XRP is going to go to. My personal belief is we'll probably get a $10 XRP, but I would have taken most of my profits by the time we hit $8. That's my strategy, and my strategy is a laddering out strategy. So I'm going to be selling at $4.20, $4.50, $4.70, $5.30, $6.37, $7.41, $8.50, and then this goes into sort of my moon bag territory where I won't have that much XRP left, but I will be keeping it for $11, $13, $18. I won't have much left at all, but a little bit for $33. And then my plan is to buy back in the bear market. That's my plan. Whether you think I'm too bearish, whether you think I'm too bullish, that's my plan. That's what I'm going to stick to. Specific percentage at those levels. What's your plan? Do you have a plan in place? Make sure you have a plan in place, because I guarantee you, if we get that altcoin season that we all expect, and that is sort of my base case scenario, not best case, but base case, what I think is going to happen, where we get September rally, October ETFs, and then sort of an autumn altcoin season, whatever that plays out, whether it's September, October, November, that sort of season where altcoins go crazy and then XRP ETFs are out. If that happens and you get parabolic growth on XRP, I guarantee you a lot of people watching the show right now, out of, I don't know, the 800 people watching the show right now, lots of you will not sell. You will think it's going to go up forever. You will think that you're holding the best thing on earth. You will think it's going straight to $100. You will get emotional. You might even buy more. You might start leverage trading. You might think you're the most clever person in the world. And then it will drop a little bit, and then you'll say buy the dip, buy the dip, buy the dip, and then it'll go up a little bit and you'll think you're so clever, and then it'll crash, it'll go into a bear market, and then you'll be very upset because you look at your portfolio and you'll say, wow, I had life-changing money in my portfolio, I didn't sell, I got too greedy. So whatever your strategy is, even if you're greedy, have that strategy in place, because you'll get even more greedy at the price you want to sell. So just have it in place, write it down, know exactly what you're going to do, and just stick to it. Because emotional trading, when it gets volatile, those 2 weeks will be the craziest 2 weeks of your life. I mean, some of you haven't experienced altcoin season, some of you have. 2021, every day you look at your portfolio, up 50%, up 50%. 2017, even crazier with XRP, up thousands of percent. So you cannot trade in a clear mind when you see all of those swings in an altcoin season. And if you've been investing in the last 4 years, you really haven't seen an altcoin season yet. The closest thing we got was back in November of 24, where we had that big push up from 30 cents to $3 for XRP, and that was a 10x. So have a strategy in place. I do not want to see anyone lose. I do not want to be here in 6 months' time when the altcoin season has come and gone, and people are saying in the comments, I lost it all, I leverage traded, I didn't sell, I had life-changing money. I just don't want to see any of my members, anyone watching the show lose. So just have a strategy in place, because the crypto market isn't like the stock market. It's much more volatile. You get altcoin seasons, it's not mature, and it brings out a lot more emotions. So that's a key takeaway, because it's a good time to do it. XRP is going down. It's sideways. It's not exciting. You can make more rational decisions right now, but very soon you won't be able to. Let me also bring to you another story from the newsletter, because this is going on today as well. Martyn will be live in about half an hour's time. We've got the White House dropping the landmark crypto report. Hopefully we'll cover this live as well. So let me tell you all about the strategic reserve and what's coming out today. If you haven't got the newsletter, every single day you get all of this information. How many people are watching? 713 people watching. If you haven't got the newsletter yet, which I'm sure a lot of you haven't, please do consider getting the newsletter. There is the link. The best information, in my opinion, comes to you every single day. You can get it in the app. If you don't like your notifications on your email, you can just get it on an app. If you don't like the app, you can get it in your email. You can get it on a web browser. You get all of these and the past issues. If I go to the about page, you can see exactly what you get. So you get the 5 things you need to know every day before the markets open. The real news, not the random news that pops up on your phone, or the people that get paid to write stories, trying to fit a narrative. I look at all the news in the morning, 4 hours of research. Look at every single news story. What's important to the viewers of this channel? Well, I know XRP is important, so I always try and keep an eye out for XRP Ripple news. I know crypto is important, so I look out for crypto news. I know stocks and shares are important, so anything finance related, investing related, I keep an eye out for. And then we produce 5 things every single day. 5 things you need to know every single day. If you get this every day and you actually read it and understand it, you'll come to terms with how news works, how things are, what affects what, understanding the news before the mainstream understand the news. And start getting a sense of how markets work and how they react to news and keeping up to date with news stories and new technologies and stuff like that, you will become a much more profitable trader or investor. So you get the 5 things you need to know, 5 things every single day. You get the chart of the day. So you get my chart, something I pick out that I think is important on that day. For example, we've got the Robinhood chart in the newsletter today. Why? Because we've got the Robinhood earnings today. So there's going to be a lot of volatility on Robinhood. So I want to share with you my levels, what I think of it. Remember, we did the chart for Robinhood at $8. It's currently at $100. I mean, there we go. Those are some of the charts we do. So the chart of the day, you get that every day. You get the big story breakdown. So you get deep dives. Today's deep dive was on the FOMC meeting. A lot of valuable information there. Sometimes we do it on specific stocks, specific crypto. Sometimes we do it on investing strategies. Sometimes we do it on take profit strategies. And you can go back and if you want, just go read every single deep dive. That would do you a lot of good. Anyway, you also get the EVTOL insights. It's a new emerging technology. We're not sponsored by EVTOLs, but we've got Vaz, who's a reporter on our show from his logo is EVTOL Hub. And it's a new technology, just like we discovered Tesla back in the day where no one liked it. No one knows what EVTOL is, but it's going to be changing the world, in my opinion. Or it's going to be a very big technology, and it's going to be a household name that no one knows yet. So we're doing a weekly report on that on a Saturday alongside a show. I run the newsletter. It's for the Martyn Lucas investors, which is, if you're watching right now and subscribed, you know what that is. It basically works out to about 33 cents a day if you want the premium membership. You don't have to have the premium membership, but I recommend trying it. And this link will give you a 7-day free trial. Some days we just put the newsletter out to the premium members, and you just get a very small amount. Most days you normally get most of the 5 stories of the day, but you don't get the deep dives, the charts, the economic calendar. We also do just issues for the premium members as well, and sometimes as a free member you just don't get the newsletter on a day, or you get a very small amount. So premium members get a lot, and I really appreciate the support that the premium members give us. So shout out to any premium members of the newsletter in the chat today. Really do appreciate you guys, and I hope you're enjoying it. So there you go. You can use it on the app. And nothing is financial advice, but it's not just another newsletter. There's no fluff. We just get directly to the point. 5 main things. If you're an investor, you should have a newsletter, and there is what it looks like. Oh, we've got a new member.
Adarden Bowman 4489 has become a member.
Welcome to becoming a member. Welcome into the show. Lots of perks, benefits for being a member. We normally go members only mode when we're busy, so we might do that in a second. But Martyn will explain to you all your perks and benefits, birthday songs, members only streams, interviews on members only first, all that sort of stuff. So thank you for supporting the channel. If you haven't done so already, there's still about 700 people watching. Please do hit the like button and subscribe as well. Let's get on to the story. Let me give you the link for the newsletter one last time. If you haven't seen it already, please do go check it out. Should I give you the link for the $1,000 giveaway as well? We're doing a $1,000 XRP giveaway. So here is the link. If you want $1,000, it's free to enter, free for all. You can win with 1 ticket. There is the link. Go and check out the $1,000 XRP giveaway as well. Okay, so some people have been asking how you enter. You go onto this page that I've just given you the link. You go down here at the bottom. You have to log in, either email, X, YouTube, whatever. Log in, and then you see all the different ways to get your tickets, and they're all free to enter. Okay, so what's going on? Crypto markets are still down. Bitcoin is hovering. What's the US markets doing? We'll come on to the Bitcoin story as well. And your comments. Let me just go over here. What is the S&P is still up slightly, which is interesting. Gold is down. Silver's down a lot. Silver's coming back into the $37 mark, which is backtesting the support. Backtesting the resistance as support now, which is good. $37. This could be a good entry for silver. Just having a quick look at the market, seeing if anything's changed, any stocks moving. Etsy's up 4% pre-market. Tilray's up 2%. Space is down slightly, SPC, Mobix down slightly, nothing major going on. Tilray had a terrible day yesterday, down 17%, oh my god. Vivo Power, this is looking good now, down 11% yesterday. Remember, this is the company that bought $100 million worth of XRP. So this looks very interesting to me because their market cap is about 40 million. I'm not 100% sure if they've bought the XRP yet, but I think they've got the money for it and they said they're going to buy it. But either way, I believe they're going to buy that $100 million worth of XRP, and if their company's worth 40 million right now, to me this looks like a no-brainer. Again, it's not advice, I might be missing something quite major here, but looks like Vivo Power, ticker symbol VVPR, Vivo Power International, is a Nasdaq listed company which is buying XRP as a strategic reserve plus to help with its payments. So this is looking quite tempting to me. I might look at this off air again and maybe put it in the newsletter tomorrow as a deep dive, and possibly buy some shares of Vivo Power. It was down 11% yesterday. This is looking very interesting to me. Do some research if you're watching on Vivo Power, see what they're doing with XRP. It's very interesting. I'll put it in the newsletter tomorrow as well. Anyway, let's get back to the story over here. If you are still watching live, please hit the like button. DXY flying, dollar index is up, DXY. Thank you. We're back to usernames for some reason, Sebek6633. The chat is all in usernames. Is that just for me or? Yeah, DXY is up. We said it's probably going to come back up. Okay, let me go back to the story. So, strategic White House drops landmark crypto report. Bitcoin strategic reserves take center stage. So the White House, this is happening today, and hopefully we get to cover it live once it comes out. But the White House, so again, make sure you're subscribed to do that, to cover that, and make sure you put your notification bell on as well, because you will get notified when we go live. The White House has released its first comprehensive cryptocurrency policy report following a 180-day review mandated by President Trump's January executive order, developed by Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, and SEC Chair Paul Atkins. The report outlines the regulatory framework for Trump's pro-crypto agenda and details the creation of a strategic Bitcoin reserve. According to the report, the US government currently holds 198,000 Bitcoin valued at $23 billion, primarily seized through criminal assets forfeitures, including $13.65 billion from the Bitfinex hack and $8.26 billion from Silk Road investigations. These holdings will serve as the foundation for the strategic Bitcoin reserve and designating Bitcoin as a national reserve asset alongside gold and petroleum, while a separate US digital asset stockpile will be managed forfeited altcoins like XRP, Solana, and Cardano. The landmark policy represents the first unified US regulatory framework for digital assets, which could resolve years of uncertainty that hindered institutional adoption. Analysts suggest that designating Bitcoin as a strategic reserve may push other nations to follow suit, tightening global supply against Bitcoin's 21 million cap. The announcement also concedes with the Federal Reserve's rate decision, adding potential volatility as traders weigh both monetary policy shifts and crypto regulation. The US officially treating Bitcoin as a reserve asset marks a paradigm shift in global finance. Watch for central banks worldwide to accelerate Bitcoin accumulation and potentially driving long-term floors higher. So basically, it seems like we're getting it to be written in law and all the procedural things that need to go on behind the scenes. We're going to have a look at the report itself and see if there's any details within it, especially about XRP, and seeing how they're going to fund it. And because obviously they're going to keep the Bitcoin that's been seized. I don't think they're looking to buy it, but what they're going to do about these strategic reserves? Is Ripple going to gift them some XRP, for example, or what's going to happen? So I want to look at the report in more detail once we get some more information on it, to see what the devil's in the details. So I want to see the details, but that's happening today, so I want to bring that to your attention. Something else that's happened about ETFs, let me bring you this news as well. We've got an update from Paul Atkins about the ETFs. Let me just go to your comments. I've realized I haven't looked or replied to your comments yet, so let me just go back a little bit. XRP is pumping right now, thank you, Master. Is everyone else seeing usernames again? Because we went from usernames back to display names. Now we're back onto usernames. I don't know what YouTube is doing. They're testing out a few systems. Is everyone else looking at new usernames, or is it just mine system? Show the man some love. Thumb that thumb. Thank you very much. Please do hit the like button if you haven't done so already. Maybe I got wrong. It's an hour. FOMC meeting is in about 5 hours, 6 hours, something like that. We'll be covering it live. Be prepared for criminal manipulation. Yes, be prepared for that as well in an altcoin season. If Powell cut today, it will pump, and if not, crypto will crash. Not really. If he was going to cut, it would pump dramatically. If he doesn't cut, which is expected, we have no idea what will happen, because it's about what he says, it's not about what he does when he holds it. So that statement is wrong. No problem with your statement being wrong, I just want to correct it. 100% always take profits. No rate cuts, all designed, big crash, incoming people. Well, that's what's priced in right now. It's not as simple as rate cuts, pump, no rate cuts, crash. Rate cuts come, we're going to pump, because that's not expected. It's about what the market expects. So the reason we will pump if there's rate cuts is because that's not what the market's expecting. It's priced in not to cut. If we priced in a cut, then it'll just be business as usual. So if it holds, does that mean we're going to pump or we're going to crash? It doesn't mean anything. That means nothing. It's about what he says. Is he going to indicate rate cuts? Then that will potentially lead into a rally. Is he not going to indicate rate cuts, or is he going to come up with more issues, tariffs, whatever? Then that will lead to a correction. It's not as simple as cut, up, hold, down. That's not how it works. Exactly, Kevin. A non-rate cut is already priced in. It's in his tone for September we're looking for. Exactly, Kevin. Highly recommend the newsletter. Paul D, thank you so much. If you haven't got the newsletter yet, let me give you the link once again. I want to put Powell. I'll pin it as well. Let me pin the newsletter. Replace pin message. I want Powell, that dude, Powell, right in the. I don't know what you mean. XRP army never sell. Well, that's going to be an issue. But if you never sell, how are you going to do it? Even if I could become a millionaire, I wouldn't sell anything. Fair enough. If you know that's what you're going to do, then that's what you're going to do. Lance is here. Good morning. Everyone likes gold. Dust off your boots and go get your own. What time will we know the FOMC decision? We're going to be covering it live in about 5 hours' time. I have a high banker and actually enjoy looking for gold. XRP Army always takes profits. Yeah. GRR has taken a hit this week. Thank you, David Hensley. DXY is flying. We looked at it. I just started crypto in November 24. Well, that was a brilliant time because it was just before the pump. So congratulations. What time is the interest rate cut? About 5 hours. Learning a bunch of. Oh, well, I'm glad you're learning. Nothing burger with dip, and the dip is quite tasty today if you can afford it. Thank you for your thoughts. I just look at it as savings. Lucky market participants are selling and getting short. I wouldn't wonder if all getting liquid tested and taking out shorts, and the later the market is turning green again, but you never know how this is. Thank you. Where was I? Learning a bunch of played out. I'm not alone. Great minds think alike. The rate cut should be in about 20 minutes, and rate Powell should. No, Kevin, that's not the time. XRP is a good product. Not really yeah. if you want to call it a product. They're lying about the number of 1 million token holders. In Nashville, there's tens of thousands of individuals who own at least 1 million tokens. Thank you. Oh, it's usernames. I don't love that. No, I don't like it either. Usernames. I like seeing I'm seeing usernames today. Yeah, okay, everyone's seeing usernames. Cut. That would be massive for the markets if it isn't. This isn't live. This is live. All events dump first. Some recover and pump. If no car can sick Cluck Norris on Powell. Right. I don't even understand that. What are your thoughts on XLM? I like XLM. No chance there'll be a rate cut after Trump slapped Powell's back. We'll see. Wait to hit below $3 to buy some more. Thank you for your opinions. Texas made gold and silver legal tender. Yes. Was it Texas? That's great news, isn't it? Consider this cycle to be, yeah, I consider it to be the same. No need to think otherwise. We've got a link from Martyn now, and he's going to be going live in 15 minutes time. How to trade the FOMC. You've been seeing Martyn have very successful trades, so you do want to stick around and see how Martyn's going to be trading the FOMC. So that's coming up in about 10-15 minutes time. We'll go straight there. Okay, let me go back to some news stories from today. Okay, what else have we missed? Yes, the ETF story. The SEC approves in-kind redemptions for crypto ETFs. I'm not sure if you saw this on X. Some people were taking this out of proportion, but here's the real news once again in the newsletter. The Securities and Exchange Commission, the SEC, has approved in-kind creation and redemption mechanisms for all spot Bitcoin and Ethereum exchange-traded products, ETPs, marking the first significant crypto-friendly regulatory shift under Chairman Paul Atkins. So let me read that again. So the SEC has approved in-kind creation and redemption mechanisms for all Bitcoin ETF exchange trading products, making it the first crypto-friendly regulatory shift. So this move allows authorized participants to exchange actual cryptocurrency rather than cash when creating or redeeming ETF shares, aligning crypto products with traditional commodity ETFs for the first time. Previously, spot crypto ETFs approved in 2024 were limited to cash-only transactions, creating inefficiencies and higher costs for market makers and investors. The SEC also approved exchange applications for mixed Bitcoin Ethereum ETPs, options trading on Bitcoin ETPs, and increased position limits of up to 250,000 contracts for Bitcoin ETP options. Regulatory change enhances the regulatory change enhances ETF efficiency by reducing transaction costs, enabling tighter bid-ask spreads, and lowering tax exposure through in-kind transfers. Crypto ETFs have already grown rapidly, with spot Bitcoin ETFs holding over 153 million in assets under management. Oh, we've got Martyn calling in. Let me see if I can bring Martyn live on the show. Let me go.
Good morning, Sensei. I think you're muted at the moment. Am I muted? You certainly are.
Was I muted?
Yes. Oh, that's better. Okay. I can hear you now. Good morning to you. Thank you for having me on the show. Exciting day. These are my most exciting days because these are when the day trader comes out. And on this morning's show, in just over 10 minutes time, I'm going to show you how I'm trading the FOMC. I've already traded twice this morning. I've made $200 already, tax-free. Not a huge amount of money for me. For some, that's a huge amount of money. So it's all perspective. But I will be trading this morning many times. I'm waiting for my third trade, and I will show you how I'm going to do this. Now, this is not financial advice, but this is the way I trade, and I'll explain it and break it all down live on the show. Tell you which stocks I do this with, how I do it, the strategies behind it, the sentiment behind it, the understanding of the whole business, the tax implication, and the whole thing. It's very important to understand all these implications, not just follow a trend, not just follow a chart, even though the charts are very important, but know the business you're owning. Are you happy to own it forever if it doesn't go your way? But I've just marked up 2 more trades, wins again, and there's no reason to lose. Absolutely no reason to lose. It's easy to make money. The hard part is to keep it. And in 10 minutes from now, I'll be live on the show, trading live in and out of stocks, maybe half a dozen times this morning. We'll see how it all goes. Anyway, Sensei, great show as always. I'll hand it back to you, and I look forward to seeing the audience as we trade live. And get ready for the FOMC report, which will follow this how to trade the FOMC. Sensei, back to you.
Thank you, Martyn. We all look forward to that important video. We've all seen the success of Martyn's trade. It's always on his screen, but over the last couple of days, you've been seeing him trade in and out and making money. So it will be an important stream starting in just under 10 minutes time. So back to the ETF story. Remember, the FOMC is going to follow. We've got back-to-back shows now coming up to the FOMC, and we're probably going to see a lot of volatility. So the regulatory change for we'll talk about this new ETF rule. So the regulatory change enhances ETF efficiency. So by reducing transaction costs, enabling tighter bid-ask spreads, and lowering tax exposure through in-kind transfers. Crypto ETFs have already grown rapidly, with spot Bitcoin ETF holdings over 153 billion in assets under management as of July 28th, led by BlackRock's IBIT at 86 billion. That's a lot of money. I think it's BlackRock's maybe 10th largest ETF, but it's their most profitable ETF, which is crazy because of all the money they can take from fees. Anyway, Chairman Atkins confirmed in April, emphasized that the policy is part of a rational regulatory framework for crypto aimed at building a deeper and more dynamic market. The decision signals broader institutional acceptance and could accelerate crypto ETF growth as operational hurdles are removed. And this is his tweet or his X post from yesterday. I'm pleased to share that the SEC approved in-kind creations and redemptions for crypto ETPs. The approval continues to build a rational regulatory framework for crypto, leading to a deeper and more dynamic market, which will benefit all American investors. So we're starting to see what this crypto-friendly SEC is doing. This is not going to affect us that much, but it's a step in the right direction. Maybe we get cheaper products out there and better products. But is it going to signal that we're going to get an ETF approval for XRP? Maybe. We're yet to see them really comment on XRP or Ripple. They've delayed ETFs. They've accepted ETFs, which include XRP, just 2 hours later put them on hold. They haven't dropped their appeal yet of their Ripple case. So we have to wait to see. I'm still skeptical, but optimistic at the same time. I don't know if that's possible, but I am. I was hoping to see the SEC drop the case this week. We're on Wednesday now. Let's see. Next couple of days, will the SEC drop the case? If not, then we start moving into August. So we'll see. I haven't made my judgment yet, but there seems to be a step in the right direction. But I really care about that Ripple case, and that needs to come to an end ASAP, and they're not doing it. Another story from today: China makes ending price wars a top priority amid trade tensions. So China has unveiled a sweeping draft amendment to its pricing law aimed at curbing destructive price wars that have established industries for nearly 3 years. Released on July the 24th, the proposal expands prohibitions on selling below cost, targeting an involution-style competition that has driven 33 consecutive months of factory gate deflation. It also cracks down on algorithmic driven pricing manipulation and introduces tougher penalties for violations. The move follows President Xi Jinping high-level policy meeting earlier this month, pledging to rein in disorderly competition across critical sectors, including EVs, solar panels, steel, and cement. The policy shift is already visible in the EV industry, where BYD's aggressive price cuts triggered a nation price war that reduced sector profit margins to just 4.5% in 2025. Solar panel manufacturers have agreed to cut production by 30%, while authorities have launched auto safety inspections after concerns that intense competition has compromised quality. The campaign marks a broader pivot from export-driven growth to domestic stabilization, coming as US tariffs on Chinese goods have peaked at 135%, forcing manufacturers to slash prices and flood global markets with cheap exports. Analysts say that the policy could ease trade tensions and support industry consolidation, but enforcement among private sector companies may prove more difficult than past-led reforms. Beijing's anti-price war strategy signals a shift towards margin preservation and industrial consolidation. If effective, it could temper deflationary pressures and stable global supply chains, but private sector compliance remains a wild card. Yeah, an interesting story. Take of that what you will. We've also got Robinhood coming up tonight as well. The earnings. Remember what's been fueling this massive run on Robinhood, which we've been covering for a few years now. You can see the breakout that we all covered live. It was the accumulation phase at between $7 to $11, and that breakout, I don't even have it anymore, but it was around $11. And that $11 breakout has led us to about $100 as of today. And today there's going to be even more volatility. We're going to be covering this live on the show. Robinhood Markets will release its Q2 25, and stay with us. In a couple minutes we're going to go over to Martyn for the How to Trade Live. Will release its Q2 25 earnings after the market close, with Wall Street forecasting a 48% jump in earnings per share. Shares closed at 106. Let me go over to here. The company's growth narrative is being driven by tokenized assets and global expansion, with which investors will scrutinize given its lofty 60 times PE ratio. Key drivers include a rollout of tokenized US stocks for Ethereum clients, European clients, the 200 million Bitstamp acquisition completed in June, and upcoming Bitcoin futures access. JP Morgan recently doubled its 2026 price target to $98, citing crypto and tokenized tailwinds, with price analysts targeting targets spanning $48 to $125 and averaging $85. However, any weakness in crypto revenues, 35% of total Q4 revenue, could spark volatility, as Hood's 145% year-to-date rally is heavily tied to digital asset trading volumes. And that's what we're going to be looking out for. What are they going to say about their crypto revenues? Because that always has an effect on the stock price. There's more stories in today's newsletter. Go and check them out. You've got the charts of the day. You've got my thoughts on the FOMC as well. Here is the link to the newsletter. Go and check it out. What we're going to do now is go straight over to Martyn. If you haven't checked out the shop yet as well, let me give you the link for the shop. Right now we've got the Brad mug. You can get it with a XRP embroidered t-shirt for 25% off. The best offer yet. Keep an eye out for the poster coming out as well, with all the trading zones as well. So what we're going to do now is go over to Martyn. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Let me give you the link to Martyn's show. Go straight over there. He's going to be starting in a couple minutes time. Let me give you the link. What was the results of the poll? Let me go over here. Will there be a rate cut? No, 58%. Yes, 41%. Remember, it's most likely there won't be a rate cut. If there is a rate cut, very small chance, 1-2% chance, the markets will rally. Go and check out what Martyn has to say about trading the FOMC. But remember, we never give financial advice, and most people that trade lose, especially if you're trading with leverage. So keep that in mind. But I am very interested to see what to do, because I'm a high-risk investor and I don't mind trading. So until next time, go straight over to Martyn. Take care of yourselves and each other. Bye-bye.